The International Air Transport Association is holding its annual cargo handling conference here in Nairobi, the first time the event is being held in Africa. It has brought together industry leaders from airlines, airports, ground service providers and manufacturers. Organizers say they're discussing how to implement industry standards, policies and procedures to help all players digitize, decarbonize and improve safety. Beryl Oro has more.
2025.
More than 800 people are registered for the 37th IATA Ground Handling Conference in Kenya's capital. And the global outlook of the sector is forecast to be positive.
The domestic markets bounced back in 2023. The international markets were a little slower. They bounced back by the end of 2024, primarily because of the slower restart in China and Asia Pacific. Good news is, though, growth is continuing. And look at from 2020 to 2024. The growth in China, we've all seen. Over the course of the last 30 years, it's been exponential.
However, the growth leans in favor of airlines while the passenger remains loaded with a financial burden.
Sustainability costs, taxation, fees and charges will have an impact on fares, but not on the bottom line of the airlines.
Despite the cost, the importance of the industry to Africa's economies cannot be understated.
Aviation plays one of the most catalytic roles in terms of economic development. And that particular aspect has to be appreciated. This is probably 3.2 in Kenya, 3.2% of the GDP.
And Kenya Airways estimates it contributes 2.5% of this to Kenya's economy. However, the stakeholders are targeting for more.
If we focus on aviation, the growth of aviation, infrastructure, and then working collaboratively, not in a fragmented manner, it can contribute more to economic development. I know it is very highly capital intensive, and that's why African governments shy away from investing. But the promise of aviation is that it will pay back, and it pays back in the long haul, both in terms of job creation, value chain addition, and also skills development.
These efforts to strengthen sector capacity are challenged by long-standing pinch points.
We estimate that there's about 1,100 aircraft younger than 10 years of age that are on the ground at the moment, principally because of engine problems. And this is going to continue for some time. So it's meant that airlines have not been able to operate their full fleet.
IATA is now in talks with major manufacturers to ascertain how long the problem will last.
One of the big issues is the number of small suppliers, small manufacturers that left the industry during the COVID period. So it's trying to see how we can, working together, encourage more production, more players into the industry in what we call Tier 2 and Tier 3 suppliers who are often making small parts for the aircraft, but critical ensuring that the aircraft fleet remains in operation.
But there are players soaring through the economic seasons.
China is a fantastic market. It's one of the fastest growing markets. If you look at the domestic market in China, it's grown by about 11.2% per annum over the last 20 years. So it represents about 11.4% of all commercial aviation. So it's a huge segment, and we see that growth continuing. Now, as we've gone through 2024, we've seen China reopen many of the international routes that were closed or suspended during the COVID period. So we're seeing strong growth, both in the Chinese domestic market, but now also in the international market serving China, which I think is very encouraging. And that's helped to bring the industry ahead of where we were in 2019 before the COVID pandemic.
Beryl Oro, CGTN.